Welcome to the midweek Call Me Courage, Inspiration, and Motivation. I'm Kenna, and this is a gentle pause in the middle of your week, a moment to breathe, reflect, and reconnect with your inner courage. This series is about me inspiring you and maybe helping you spark your own motivation along the way. These short reflections are offered as a space to slow down, listen inward, and realign with what feels true to you, so you can move forward with clarity, intention, and heart. Let's begin. Welcome. Let's talk about how to be present instead of just being pressured. Have you ever noticed what happens to your body when you're scrolling through the news or listening to the latest update from the government? Your shoulders move up towards your ears, your jaw locks. Maybe you feel a knot in your stomach. This is the physical manifestation of pressure. It's the feeling that the world is too much, too chaotic, and that you have to somewhat harden yourself or force a solution just to survive the day. We've been taught that courage is a battle, a loud grinding at us. But what if that kind of courage is actually what's burning us out? Welcome back to Call Me Courage. Today's midweek inspiration is titled Meeting Fear Without Forcing. Today, I want to talk to you about a different kind of strength, a call to soft courage. It is not about being passive, and it definitely is not about being weak. Soft courage is the shift from pressure to presence. Pressure is reactive. It's clenching your fist against the chaos. Presence is rooted. It's the ability to stand in the middle of the same chaos with your heart open, your eyes clear, refusing to let the noise dictate who you are. In this episode, I'm going to share why I had to walk away from social media and the news for a couple weeks. And more importantly, I'll share how that pause gave me the honesty I needed to come back and finally speak my mind about events going on in the world without losing my peace in the process. I want to be very honest with you about those 2 weeks. I went dark. I stepped away from the social media scrolls, the 24-hour news cycles, and the constant digital chatter. Now, in a world that demands that we are informed every second, taking a break can feel like running away. It can feel like we're abandoning the post, but I want to reframe that for you today. My hiatus was not an act of desertion. It was an act of presence. I realized that I couldn't be present for my life, my values, or my community if my internal frequency was being jammed by constant outside noise. Why did I do it? Because the pressure had become unsustainable. When I looked at the headlines, the stories coming out of the government, the rhetoric from followers that, to be quite honest, feels more like a cult than a political movement, it felt disturbing. It felt heavy. I found that the chaos created by the current leadership wasn't just out there in the world, it was starting to live in my spirit. That noise was drowning out my inner voice. I couldn't hear my own compassion anymore because I was too busy feeling the vibration of everyone else's anger and fear. I realized that if I stayed in the state of forced awareness, I was not actually helping anyone. I was just becoming another person reacting from a place of depletion. The big insight I gained in those 2 weeks of silence is to have the courage to stand up. You first must have the courage to sit down. We think courage is a battery that will never run out, but actually it's more like a well. If you don't let it refill, you eventually just start bringing up mud. I didn't come back to the microphone today because the world suddenly got better. The chaos is still there. The leadership is still heading in a direction that deeply alarms me. The tragedies are still occurring. But I come back refreshed because my perspective regained its clarity. By sitting down and replenishing, I remembered who I am. I remembered that I have a voice that is separate from the noise, and I realized that I am much more effective at expressing my honesty when I am speaking from a place of grounded presence rather than a place of frazzled pressure. Coming back to my break, I realized that the refresh I felt wasn't just from the silence, it was from the clarity that's provided me. I realized that while I don't want to live in a state of constant outrage culture, I also cannot confuse soft courage with staying quiet when my consciousness is screaming. I've spent a lot of time reflecting on why the current landscape feels so different, so heavy. When I look at the leadership in the US right now, I don't just see a difference in policy. I feel a fundamental shift in the spirit of the country. I see a desire for absolute control that feels less like public service and more like a move toward a dictatorship. I see a deliberate use of chaos, not as an accident, but as a tool. And that chaos isn't just headline, it has real human cost. It creates a world where truth feels slippery and where compassion for the other is treated as weakness. I know some people might say, just ignore it. I don't get political. But when leadership begins to feel like a takeover of our shared values and our global stability, speaking up is no longer about politics. It's about honesty. My courage here is rooted in a desire to fight or to win or to argue. It's not rooted in that. It's rooted in compassion. My heart breaks for those caught in the crossfire of the tragedies, the families, the marginalized, and even the people that just want to live a happy life filled with joy and goodwill towards others. Given some of the challenges I'm currently facing, you might assume I'm focused on politics or align with a particular party, but that's actually not what it's about for me. What I care about is people. I care about humans being treated with respect. I remember a moment a while back when my son said something to me that really stayed with me. He said, Mom, you need to stop saying you used to be a member of this political party. You are you. You think like you have your own opinions, and they don't have to be tied to any political party. He was absolutely right. And even now, I still hear his voice reminding me that very thing, you are you. It brings me back to something simple but powerful. We are allowed to think for ourselves. We are allowed to care about people first, and we are allowed to hold our own values independent of labels. I'm speaking my mind because I believe we deserve a world built on stability and respect, not on fear and theatrics. Standing up and saying, this is not okay is an act of presence. It's saying, I'm here, I'm seeing this, and I am not pretending it's normal. My silence became heavier than my words. The break to stop my anger was good, going back to my advice about pausing. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a thought on what it means to be present in a world that is constantly demanding you to be productive or combative. True courage is not found in how loudly you can shout down an opponent. It's found in the quiet, steady alignment of your heart and your voice. When I took my break, I realized that I was just not hiding from the news. I was clearing the static so I could hear my own truth again. Whether you're struggling with the state of the nation, a difficult relationship, or a personal fear that feels too big to handle, remember this. You don't have to force the solution to be the strength. You don't have to clench your fists to be brave. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is simply stand in the middle of the chaos and say, I am here, I am honest, and I will not be moved from my values. Presence is its own kind of power. It's a soft power, but it's unbreakable. So here's my midweek invitation for you. It's a simple presence check you can do no matter what you're facing. Identify the pressure. Where are you trying to force an outcome right now? Where are you clenching your jaws? Take a pause. Give yourself permission, even if it's just for 10 minutes, to step away from the noise of the struggle and speak one honest sentence. Once you found a moment of quiet, say one thing that is true to you, not what you should feel, but what you do feel. Maybe it's, I'm scared of where the country is going, or I'm exhausted by conflict. Don't try to fix the feeling, just acknowledge it. That honesty is your soft courage. It's your anchor. Until next time, be kind to yourself, stay present, and remember your strength lies within. You are enough, exactly as you are. As we close, I want to remind you that you are allowed to pause. You are allowed to choose differently, and you are allowed to trust what feels true for you. Thank you for joining the Call Me Courage midweek inspiration and motivation. Until we meet again, choose courage gently. Bye-bye.